Casino Matrix. Progressive jackpots are here. Where are you? Just drop in. Please play responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, what a joy to welcome back a great voice for KNBR. Going back to the 1990s, going back to the 20th century, y'all. We're going back, but of course remaining as current as ever with his great Niners coverage. And Larry Krueger has been the dude for a long time, ever since he patrolled the hallways of St. Ignatius High. Get 'em cats, go get 'em cats. He'll give you that too. But the bottom line is this: we're welcoming Krueger back to the KNBR airwaves right freaking now. And we got big news starting September 2nd. Larry Krueger's going to host a new show on KNBR called Niners Nightly, airing from 6 to 7 Monday through Friday. What? You want your Niners content? Boom, we're giving it to you. You can join in the fun over the air and our social platforms, YouTube and Twitch. But that's all just by way of saying we have him on the line right now, on the UMA guest line. Krueg, welcome back, brother.
Larry, what's up, man?
Murph, Marcus, good morning, fellas. How you guys doing? Thank you. Glad to be back. Thrilled to be here and excited for this Niners season. If we can get this train back on the rails and get everybody signed, and let's go.
Listen to you, you magnificent SOB. That's Krueger, everybody, on KNBR. This is awesome, man. It's great having you. We'll look forward to doing like weekly hits with you, man, and talking Niner football, man. So I know people they want their red meat, so we'll roll up our sleeves and dispense with the sentimental pleasantries and dive right in. So, Krueg, my big thing is I think this summer stinks. Like, it's bad news everywhere, whether it's starting with Brandon Aiyuk's holdout, moving on to Trent Williams' holdout, this rash of injuries that has caused the cancellation of the Saints scrimmages, even something like Kalia Davis, who shows well Saturday, now has to have knee surgery. So you tell me, Krueg, am I right? Is this summer a huge bummer, or is there a different angle?
Well, I mean, you could definitely take that perspective. I mean, the Kalia Davis one was a real kick to the gut. That was easily his best performance in his, 3-year career. And then, immediately he's out for half the season with a knee injury, and he's had knee injuries in the past. So, I mean, that one was a kick to the gut because they badly needed him to be great. Their defensive line's kind of a question mark. And if Kalia had been this awesome pass rusher, that would have given them such a lift. But I don't know if they're cursed. I just, but it's a different challenge every year, guys. You know that. I mean, the first year the challenge was, man, this roster stinks. Let's build this thing up. Now the challenge is, can John Lynch keep his, can he keep plugging all the holes before the water takes over the boat? It's like there's a lot of – the Niners have almost a quarter of the top 30 players in the NFL as ranked by the NFL top 100. When that happens, you're going to have cap problems, and they've got cap problems.
Yeah, Larry, just to follow up on Murph's question, we were discussing what was the biggest positive that happened for the 49ers this summer, besides Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey being married. So what stood out to you so far from training camp, whether it's the entire camp, week 1 against the Tennessee Titans? What's been the biggest positive for the 49ers this summer?
Well, definitely me coming back to KNBR is the biggest positive.
Number one, Larry.
That is number one. So what's number two?
Number one. I mean, everything takes kind of a back. There's this guy named Malik Mustafa, and he's just a monster. And this guy, he played at Wake Forest, and he looks like a linebacker, but he covers like a corner, and he's just dynamic. And he's done some things already on the practice field, guys, that are just amazing. There was a Dobbs to Danny Gray pass down the sideline last week, and it was a one-on-one coverage. Renardo Green was over there, and at the last second, Mustafa comes over and just, usually the safety comes over, maybe he puts a little hit, maybe goes for the ball. This guy rose up in a crowd of 3 and ripped an interception away with his left arm only and landed like a cat on the, like down on the ground, like just super soft landing. I mean, one of the most incredible athletic plays I've ever seen on a football field. And he just did it the other day. So I asked Shanahan about him yesterday after practice, and he's like, yeah, the guy can cover, he can hit, he's a thumper. They love him. And John Lynch, who knew, right? Hall of Fame safety could find a great safety in the draft. And
I mean, that would be great. I would love it to see this guy keep going, Malik Mustafa and the other one. But so speaking of draft picks, Larry, we're talking to Larry Krueger, everybody, who's back in the KNBR family. In addition to doing hits with us every week, he's going to do a new show called Niners Nightly every Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. You can get some great Niners coverage every night, 6 to 7 on KNBR. You can watch it on YouTube and Twitch. So we're talking about the draft and Malik Mustafa. That leads to the draft for me on the other side of the ball. And I asked you about, because you're at camp a lot, Ricky Pearsall and Jacob Cowing. I mean, these are two, not one, but two. I mean, I'm as interested in Cowing as I am in Pearsall, but these guys aren't on the field. So, Larry, what do you think, man? How much of a setback is this? Are you optimistic these guys can contribute at all early in the season?
Well, I mean, Murph, as far as their talent goes, there's no doubt they can contribute. I mean, Cowing is a great route runner. He's small, but he's a great route runner with tremendous hands, and he's been productive. He was productive at Arizona. He was productive before he transferred to Arizona. He was at UTEP. He's been in different offenses. I mean, he is really a good player. But he came out the first day. He looked fantastic. Everybody's going, wow, look at Cowing. Winds up with a soft tissue hamstring pull and has just kind of been – on the field for a little bit here, a little bit there since. So I don't know if, what he's going to be because he hasn't been able to stay healthy. And Pearsall's been in the blue jersey, the non-contact blue jersey all summer, and they've kind of protected him. They haven't let him go in the one-on-ones early on, try to not so he doesn't lose confidence. I think Pearsall and Cowing are both going to be good, but durability is the question for both.
Staying on the topic of the rookies, Dominic Puney was one of the standouts this weekend at right guard. What do you think his role is going to be with the 49ers this year, Larry?
Oh, man, Marcus, I love talking to Puney. I mean, he's a destroyer. He gave up no pressures, no sacks, very clean report card from the first game against the Titans. You guys saw that push where he kind of pushed Mason into the end zone on the first touchdown. I mean, Puney's looked good, and Shanahan admitted yesterday that, he's running with the ones, and if you're running with the ones, you got a great shot to start. And John Feliciano's an older guy. Last year he shared with Burford. I could see him sharing with Puney, but I think Puney is going to be given a chance to steal that job or take that job outright. And he may do it because he's really, really talented, and he's kind of a fighter, old school brawler type. So I think a lot of old school Niner fans are going to love watching him blocking out front for CMC.
Yeah, the film was good on Saturday for sure. We'll see more this Sunday against the New Orleans Saints when the Niners take on the Saints in their Levi's preseason game. By the way, you're listening to KNBR AM and KNBR FM, San Francisco, the sports leader at Cumulus Media Station. And you're not hallucinating. That is Larry Kruger back in the KNBR family, always part of the KNBR family. And he'll be doing not just hits with all the shows during the football season, but also a Niners nightly show starting September 2nd, 6 to 7. That'll be awesome. I'll be sure to tune into that. Hey, Krug, we've gone this far. We've violated sports talk radio law. We haven't asked about your take on Brandon Aiyuk, the story that will never go away. I don't know how you've evolved on this story since February, March, April, May, June, July, and now August. What's your take, Larry?
Oh, man. Because this thing has gone on forever, I have had a myriad of takes. But, so I'll just – okay, first of all, I just was listening to the Athletics Scoop City podcast with Diana Rossini and Chase Daniel, and she says that she's talked to sources around the league this morning and that 3-team trades are still a possibility, and that, that there's still the Niners and Aiyuk are still not together. The Niners and the Steelers are still not together as an agreement on compensation. The Niners offers rumored to be $26 million. Pittsburgh's rumored to be offered 27 to 29. I mean, okay, one take is this. I kind of think if I have to side with the Niners or with Aiyuk, I would side with Aiyuk. Why? Because the Niners play the 28th fastest pace in the league. That suppresses his numbers. The Niners have the greatest collection of offensive weapons in all of pro football. That suppresses his numbers. The Niners run the ball the most of any team in football and pass at the 32nd clip in the NFL. That suppresses his numbers, and none of those things does Brandon have anything to do with. He blocks in the run game. He's not a diva. He's a legitimate tough guy. So I personally, I would give in on this one and sign this player because I think there's reasons that his numbers are suppressed and that have nothing to do with him. And I think he's a perfect fit for what they are as a team, a run-first football team. He's the perfect wideout for them. So I would side with him and say pay him. But the whole thing has gotten so ridiculously tired. And, for him to say that Jaden Daniels could take his game to the next level is an insult to Brock Purdy, probably an insult to Kyle Shanahan. I think it may have gotten a little personal between Shanahan and Aiyuk. And I hope they can get it done, guys, because I think their best chance to win a Super Bowl is with Aiyuk. But I get the sense that the Pittsburgh trade talks are real, that they could offer the Niners a player or two plus a couple picks, that the Niners might be able to spin to Denver for Cortland Sutton or Cincinnati for a Higgins or maybe somewhere else for a receiver that they want. So, I'd love to see him back. I think I would pay him. I think ultimately they'll trade him.
Do you think it's a higher priority for the 49ers to work out a contract with Brandon Aiyuk or Trent Williams?
Trent Williams. Marcus, they have no replacement for Trent Williams. Though Chris Hubbard, I thought, looked really good at left tackle in this game, but Chris Hubbard is not Trent Williams. And the Niners have Pearsall and Cowing, and we haven't even talked about their other group of receivers, but Ronnie Bell, Chris Conley, Tay Martin, all these guys are vying for spots, and the receiver group is deep. I mean, they got about 10, 12 receivers. They don't have, they don't have alternative plans without Trent. So Trent is the priority. There's at least the talk around camp, guys, is that it's going to get done, but there's been no movement thus far.
Last couple minutes with the voice of Larry Kruger, who's back in the family. This is going to be the beginning of a long-running conversation we have with Larry about the Niners all season long. In addition to hits with us during the week, he'll be doing a weekly show, or a nightly show, I should say, called Niners Nightly, 6 to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. By the way, I'll give you a chance to pump that up, Larry. Tell us about that September 2nd, Monday through Friday. What are you going to bring?
Well, you know what, Murph? It's such a cool opportunity because, I've been spending the last couple of years at Niner camp every day, right? So I'm going to be doing the same thing. I'll be at Niner camp every day. I'll go in the locker room. I'll talk to the players. I'll talk to the coaches. We'll have fresh sound from the locker room in the latest stories every night at 6 o'clock. We'll have sound from the locker room, some top flight media guests, some great opinion. We'll take some calls. We'll do a little something different every night, and we'll talk Niners every night from 6 to 7. Don't miss it.
And Larry, since you're down there at training camp every single day, one of the biggest offseason storylines for the 49ers was moving on from Steve Wilks, promoting Nick Sorensen to DC, and also bringing in Brandon Staley. So what's been the biggest difference you've seen defensively, scheme-wise, with the new defensive coordinators?
I think the scheme is gonna remain relatively the same. I don't anticipate. I think that was the attraction, Marcus, of Sorensen, was the continuity factor. But it is interesting that Demo Lenore told us a couple days ago that he felt like Brandon Staley was the Kyle Shanahan of defense, and that he was really, really sharp. And so that tells me that Staley has really won over a lot of these players with his defensive philosophy and his defensive knowledge. So I would imagine there'll be some differences in the blitz scheme. I would imagine you're going to see some differences in coverage. I think there's still going to be a big cover 3, zone team, though, for the most part on D.
Krug, we can't let you go without just a word on Brock Purdy, man. I mean, this is one of the – I talk about, bad news everywhere. The good news is this guy's been healthy the entire offseason. He's been in the film room. He's been on the practice field. Now, the only bad news is he doesn't have Aiyuk to throw to, or really Pearsall or Cowing, as we mentioned earlier. But just in general, his arm strength, his reps, his ability to be on the field every day. What have you seen?
He doesn't look the same without Aiyuk. I'll say that, because Aiyuk is his deep cross guy, right? And Aiyuk, he doesn't quite look the same without Aiyuk. But I don't think he's going to regress. I don't think there'll be any regression. I think he's going to be he's talking about let's win games big this year. Let's dominate. Let's put up enough points so we can make the fourth quarter, render it useless. I think Purdy is going to continue to get better and better. And you got to remember, this is his first real NFL off season with true reps. And when I ask him, guys, about his different receivers, he has such detail in his ability to describe their route running and everything that you can tell he's put in the field work with Cowing, with Pearsall, and all these guys. I think he's going to get a little bit better this year.
Krug, this is great to hear your voice, man. It's like yesterday, bro. And they're not booing. They're saying Krug. That's my line, there, buddy. That's my line. Hey, man, great hearing you. Hope to see you soon around the office. We'll look forward to more of these conversations. Nothing better than talking Niner football, man. You know the deal. So welcome back, dude.
Yeah, thanks, Larry.
Thanks, fellas. Fired up to be back. Looking forward to a great season of Niner football, and thrilled to be back on the leader.
That's Larry Kruger, y'all, on the UMA guest line. Niners Nightly. That would be good. Good content. Look at our new program director making things happen.
I know we got Dubs OT, Niner Nightly. When's our new Giant show going to start?
Oh, but it's funny. I didn't go there, but we'll have more relaxed conversations with Larry. This was very meat and potatoes. Get the Niners out of the way, but I definitely want him to get some Farhan riffs because nobody loves ripping the Giants.